Now for part 2 now of our inaugural podcast, our first episode, NFL preview. We've done the AFC, so check on YouTube and check on the Beyond the Locker Room podcast, in the playlist on our page, and you'll see that one there, and you can see what we think about the AFC. So now we're in the NFC, which is near and dear to Eve's heart. So I'll give you the honor, sir. We'll start with the NFC East, your favorite division.
Okay, well, I don't know if it's my favorite division right now.
Right now, it's a hot mess right now.
Right, but let's put it this way. For my picks, I got the Eagles, Giants, Cowboys, and I call them Washington. I do not call them.
You're doing the Phil Simms on us, huh? You're the Phil Simms.
I'm doing more than the Phil Simms. I'm doing the Mike Carreri, the black referee for the NFL, who said last 6 years. I said I refuse to ref a game.
Yeah.
So, okay, but getting back to it real quick. Eagles are the most talented team in that division. Yeah. No doubt. Yeah, and Chip Kelly, whatever he's doing. At first, I was skeptical, but it's like, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. It's the speed of the game and what he's doing that is probably the biggest thing.
I heard something you mentioned on ESPN. It's almost like when Bill Walsh was redefining the offense with the West Coast offense. That you wonder 10 years from now it's going to be just like, hey, no huddle.
It's not football in the NFL.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Because remember, the key thing that they do, and anybody who watches the game is, remember, their linemen stay in one line all the time.
But you know what though? What will be interesting to see from a labor standpoint is how players actually, because this is not good for players actually.
No, it's not.
No, because you get these type of schemes in here, pretty much it's just rolling you in and out, just like off of assembly line. And that includes the quarterback, which has been proven. And the quarterback was still the one spot was like, hey, you had to have value with the quarterback. And pretty much everybody else is dispensable except for the quarterback. But even Chip Kelly's now looking like he's making the quarterback look. I mean, heck, Mark Sanchez is out there looking like Dan Fouts.
Well, of course, but because remember, his offense is predicated on, listen, I don't need you to come up and, I just need you to dissect the information and get it out.
Yeah, right.
Like, and I mean, when you look at it, people are going to wonder, is Nick Foles going to regress this year because he doesn't have Jackson there as a wide receiver? Personally, I don't think he's going to regress because I think the scheme that they run, it's a very difficult scheme to pick up.
To your point, man, can you imagine RG3 running that scheme? Holy cow.
He'd be running too much. He'd be running too much and getting killed.
No, man. Because wasn't that essentially what they're doing to some extent in the first season? It was like pretty much
first season, remember, he was a novelty. Remember, the first season, novelty. Everybody didn't know him, and the speed was there. Second season, they figured out a little.
So that eliminated. But the other thing they didn't do in the second season was, and this is where the chicken and the egg situation comes in, was it that they didn't want to do the read option because he was hurt still, or they got talked into it because they saw this with San Francisco too. Everyone was worried about, they're putting bounties on our quarterbacks, and it almost psyched them out of doing it. Because San Francisco for a lot of the season too wasn't doing Kaepernick. They only started bringing it back out in the playoffs. And I'm wondering, in this case, these coaches got psyched out hearing all this stuff in the offseason. But, they're not.
Okay, that read option thing, first of all, the read option is a gimmicky thing. Yeah. It's just like the shoot, right? Yeah. Now, it depends on who the quarterback is, mind you. But when they started saying... It's a win. It's exactly what it is. It's like an Army-Navy nonsense.
Right. It's like Oklahoma, Texas for 1982. It's the wishbone.
First of all, do you want to subject your quarterback to getting smoked on every play, even when he is not involved in the play?
See, I think if you use it judiciously, it can be quite effective. They say you have at best 10 at most read options where you actually run the ball and you know you're going to run it. Mm-hmm. But if you do it almost as just something to kind of keep guys off balance thinking they're going to run, I think it still can be effective. I think they should have forced the hand of the defense the challenge, but I think these guys got scared because everyone talked them out of it and just said, "Okay, we're not doing it." So I think.
Well, you know what? Injuries also. Listen, when you start seeing your quarterback getting smoked, getting hit often,
but that kind of
puts a little trepidation in terms of running it, because I think that with the Redskins, I think what happened last year was just horrible on so many levels, on so many reasons. First of all, Griffin shouldn't have been playing as early as he did. He should have just taken probably like the 4 weeks or 6 weeks, get himself right, let the other guy get beat up a little bit, and then do what you need to do to get healthy. That's what he should have done.
Yeah, but this thing started from day one, draft day, when the two of those quarterbacks got drafted. You can't be playing mind games with your star quarterback. You can't be playing mind games with your star quarterback.
Yeah, but
you can't be. It just
can't. You know how I feel about Griffin already.
Yeah, but let's just pull away your personal thing about Griffin. Just go for it as a player. You want a star player, and that's your quarterback. It's supposed to be the future. You don't draft a dude. The coaches say, "Why let the other dude? I'll draft him in the second or third round."
Well, if you got him, I hear you. But then here's where the mental aspect of this is where you got certain things again. I think you and I spoke about this, about the whole cocoon thing and not really playing in a big market and stuff like this, right? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Griffin, to me, looks like he's not. To me, that's just my opinion.
He's touches. He's touches.
Yeah, man. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, grow up a little bit and toughen up a little bit. Yeah. Not, you don't have to comment about everything, and not everything is like you just play your game.
Right.
Just let your play dictate everything.
I totally agree with that.
Just like you said today with Sedano, what he said yesterday, it's true. This shouldn't be a conversation for Cousins to take over this guy's job. It's the number six guy stinks.
Cousins ain't the next coming of Joe Montana. He ain't.
Right. But the problem is. But Griffin is giving them the ammunition because he's responding to it.
But see, this is where I come from I agree with that, but I come from the other aspect is that you set up this dynamic from day one when you had the coach have autonomy to pick Cousins at the draft. You should never come pick Cousins. That's my whole point. But isn't it the job of your team to come up and accumulate talent? Who picks two quarterbacks in the same draft?
Oh.
Who picks? Tell me, Eve. Who picks two quarterbacks in the same draft?
But Brian, if I know that there's another quarterback that I probably had, I'm not saying that I agree with his point.
Eve, really? You're gonna actually make that point?
No. Wait. If you know that you have if you know that what is he? He was in the third round, right?
Third or fourth round, yeah.
Third or fourth round. Okay. So the fact about it is, he obviously he wasn't sold on the Griffin thing. He probably made that known to the owner.
You can't.
He probably let it go to the owner.
Look, here's my point.
But you got to also understand how it works in football. Sometimes just because the owner wants it, I understand. The owner wants it. Yeah, you go get him. If the owner tells you go get him, you go get him because that's your boss. But if you know, like, you should probably know a little bit more than your owner, right? You're going to take it a little bit upon yourself, saying, I'm trying to get talent.
But the GM in this case, if I understand, wanted Griffin, which obviously fine. Shanahan wasn't really sold on Griffin as much. Fair enough.
Right.
Now, you get down to the third, fourth round now. You made your decision. You lie in your bed now. You don't go and pick up another quarterback in the fourth round in this case. Go and get a journeyman, what the Jets did just now, like Vic. And if you want to fight it out, okay, that's what you do. Okay?
It's got competition, brother.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what you do if you want to do that. But when you pick up the same dude with the same draft, you're pretty much saying, like, well, you here, I'm gonna pull the rug out you the first time you mess up. So then if you're Griffin, you're saying to yourself, like, well, heck, I better get on that field because if it's 2 weeks straight, I might not see this job again. We saw that nonsense happen with San Francisco years ago with Montana Young. Don't be fooled. This crap happens all the time, guy.
All the time. It happens all the time.
But it never ends right. That's my point.
It never ends right. Okay, but Young won a Super Bowl.
It blew up. They had to go and chase a legend out of his city for things to get cleaned up.
Same thing with Rodgers. Yeah, right. Stuff happens. Stuff happens.
But even in those circumstances, at least one guy was drafted as the future. They was drafted at the same time. That's like what we always tease about with Minnesota when Khan was drafting like 3 point guards at once. Like, dude, you put your point guard. You don't pick up another point guard like 4 picks later. I'm sorry. I didn't say, hey, you're our future point guard.
I don't know.
No, it don't work. Anyway, we spent more than enough time on RG3. I knew that was going to happen. But anyways, my picks.
It's Bob.
Yeah, it's Bob. My picks are Philly, Giants. I have them flip. Washington, Dallas. I think Dallas' defense, I think they might average 40 points in this case this year.
Dallas' defense is like they say the last year's Dallas defense was the worst in NFL history.
They can't get off the field.
And it's crazy because
that Saints game was like watching Madden.
Yeah, it's crazy because and then they lost their top defensive player,
right?
Who is their? I think when you're defensive back, you're the defense. When you're a defensive back and you're the best player of the team, and you're suspended for 4 games, yeah, see you later.
Yeah, that's what we always like at Dallas.
I think that they're going to surprise us with the running game, but I got them third.
Yeah, okay. So let's move on to North. So I got Green Bay, Detroit, Chicago, and Minnesota. So I'm not as high as Chicago as other people are because I just don't trust in the health of Cutler. Sorry, he's good for at least 3 or 4 games, missing 3 or 4 games each season, and that's going to cost him the playoffs. And so I'm sorry.
You know what? It's true. You know what? I agree with you on that. I do have the Bears as second in the division, but my concern again is Cutler. Because Cutler, he's always missing games for some reason, whether it's a herniated disc,
right,
arm problems,
something.
Yeah, constantly. He's always missing something. But I just think that the Packers are going to be very good this year. I hope the defense will come around because Julius Peppers is apparently he's been tearing it up in terms of practice. Not during games though. But again, that's preseason. He might be just getting himself set up. But the defense will be key. And if Green Bay can actually let Lacy be Lacy by running the ball the way that he does, I love Rodgers.
Stubborn quarterback, because he wants all the calls,
You know what? No, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Rodgers needs to get called out a lot more because he loses a lot of close games.
Cowherd called him out today or yesterday. He said, listen, they're media like certain guys, which we all know, and they I call these guys they don't want to touch. But he's a Revlon dude. Yeah. He's a Revlon dude.
Yes. Well, he's a Revlon dude, but he has lost some big games, and I'm surprised. It might be because he plays in Green Bay that he doesn't get all.
He had one hot streak in the playoffs and they won the Super Bowl. And since then, he really hasn't been a great playoff quarterback. Right. I'm sorry, I don't fear playing Green Bay in a playoff game. He's a bit of a Revlon dude. That's all I'm saying. He's not Manning level Revlon, but he's getting up there, boy. The mascara's coming on a little bit, a little blush. It's getting there. All right, AFC South. I'm sorry, NFC South. So who you have?
For me, I got the Saints. Then this is my other Kansas City of 2013.
Go ahead.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh,
I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then I got the Falcons. Then I got the Panthers. Reason why I got the Bucs. The Bucs have a really good defense. And guess who's coming into town? Lovie Smith.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, Lovie Smith is not he's not Tony Dungy. But however, what he did with the Chicago Bears when he came over as their defensive coordinator, as their head coach, he changed that defense over to the point that they were scoring points. Yeah. They were remember the old Tampa Bay back in the day with Simeon, with the boys there with Sapp and with Nick, all those boys. Yeah. That's the same thing that they'll be bringing this year, and I really do think because
he's the offense, he's underrated coach.
He's a very underrated coach, and I think that they're going to play hard for him, and he's not joking around. Yeah. Plus, if I'm hearing rumors that they're going to bring in Richie Incognito.
Oh, brother.
Okay, they're bringing him in. Plus, they're bringing in some other guards as well. Because they're trying to upgrade that offense right away. Dude, I mean, Tampa Bay is going to be scary to me because they got the little hamster back there that's called Doug Martin, who ain't no joke.
No, he's nice.
And he's coming back real serious. I'm not really a big McNown guy, but I just think they're going to be the Kansas City Chiefs this year.
That's the issue, man. I mean, I can't put the Bucs that high up, man, because I'm concerned about the quarterback situation, and it's a QB league, man. And if you don't have a quarterback that can actually play the position, you can't jump 2 spots in this case, with the second place and be. And when you're in second place in the division, that means you could potentially be in playoff contention. I can't see Tampa. So, I'm sorry. I think Lovey is a good coach. I think it's a 2-year process. I think this year he'll get them kind of they played pretty hard last year, to be fair to them.
Right. Even with Shiano, they played pretty hard.
Knucklehead there, yeah. I mean, they did play hard. But I think Tampa's still going to be in last place, man. I think the other three teams, are going to QB position, the discrepancy is too big, man. Sorry, too big to make up. I don't care how good your defense is. Because nowadays, in this case, with how the league is, the defense has an impact, no doubt. As a Seahawks fan, I saw it last year, it has an impact. It can get you, it can close the gap by maybe half a touchdown or something like that. But it's not like the old days where it get shut down, like how it was even like 2000s when you had Ravens and Steelers where you could like put down 12 points for a team and say, yeah, you ain't get no more than that. Those days are done. And even crap teams can get you 20 points, just sleeping. So to me, with a division that has Ryan, Cam, and Breeze, I'm sorry, I just can't see them getting past any one of those teams.
I really okay, this is my opinion. Mm-hmm. I think you're going to see a real bad season out of the Panthers because, like, I mean, look, I like Cam. I respect Cam's game. But these injuries that he's starting to pick up, like, I mean, the ankle injury that apparently he's now a rib injury that's coming up. I don't know if it's just them blowing up smoke, but they have no wide receivers.
Well, that's the issue. But, like, I mean, like, I had Carolina third. I had the Saints win the division, and I got Atlanta coming back. I think they're going to be healthy.
Because with Matt Ryan,
the receivers are back. I think they're just. I think it just. I think they're not like a 2-14 team where they were last year. I think they're a better team than that, and I think they'll be at least 500. With that team with everyone healthy, so I think Atlanta bounces back. But I think I do agree with you. I think Carolina will take a dip. I don't think it's as bad as everyone else thinks it is, but they will take a dip because the division. They're gonna play a tougher schedule, first place schedule. And I think, I said before, the receiving core, which was already bad enough last season, and then they strip it down more. Like, I mean, like, I don't know what they're going to do with that. So, they put more pressure on Cam. But, I think they'll have a little bit, I could easily see them something like 7-9 or something like that. Something like that, maybe. But, that's who I have. And then probably the toughest division in football.
Sure.
And here we go, a bloodbath of this division. NFC West, man. So I got Seattle win the division again. I got San Francisco coming close again, as just like before. Arizona still playing strong. I can see Arizona past San Francisco. Wouldn't surprise me, if that happened. I can see a flip flop with either one of those two teams, and of course, last in this case, St. Louis. And they're disastrous season.
Yeah, they're a disastrous season waiting to happen right now. Yeah. The thing is, for me, I like the card. I really do like. The problem that I have with Arizona, though, is the injuries are starting to pile up on the defensive side of the ball. That's an issue for me. And also, as well, Carson Palmer, man. I'm sorry. I mean, he makes me nervous. Wow, he makes me nervous as heck, man. Like, I mean, sure, he might throw you 5,000 yards, but he'll give you 25 picks.
I love those USC quarterbacks. Huh?
No, yeah, the typical UFC quarterbacks. We all love them in the league, don't we?
Yeah. So I that's my thing. Why I can't put Arizona ahead of San Francisco. I just can't trust Palmer.
I just can't. No, San Francisco. Like, listen, defensively, it's gonna be. I think this is a real big year for San Francisco, though. Yeah. Because number one, they just signed a quarterback for how many years? 10 years or some kind of number, like Kaepernick for 10 years.
But how much? But you really, I mean, like, the NFL, they say $100 million contract, and the guy gets like about 30.
Right, that don't mean nothing as long as you get your money up front. However, I'm not sold on Kaepernick. I'm not sold on him. I think that he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's a money maker, but it's the same way that you talk about Dalton too. So for me, when it comes to San Francisco this year, Harbaugh, I think his personally, I find Harbaugh overrated. He's a good coach. He's not a great. I don't think he's not Bill Walsh. I think that the media's trying to push him as such. I just think that he's tired. I think he's getting the guys on his team. He's wearing out the whole entire organization. I think he's on a 1-year contract right now. So basically, if the team doesn't perform very well, adios, sayonara. So that's how I feel about him.
No, I agree. And I said before, the survey with the ESPN guys. I think we were talking about. They had the top 5. They mentioned the top 5. They mentioned the top 10. He was like 8th or 9th. And they were like kind of crying and wondering how come he wasn't in the top 5. Like, dude, he hasn't won anything. All those other dudes, they've won something there ahead of him. He has accomplished a lot, but as I said before, I mean, I think his brother was behind him, I think. And his brother, to me, has accomplished more than him. Obviously, he's won a Super Bowl. So, Yeah, right. I think in this case the hype's a bit much with him. I think he's a guy that wants to get out before before it all comes crumbling down a little bit. Mm-hmm. But anyways, I think we have the same picks for the AFC West. So I have the same as you: Seattle, San Fran, Arizona, St. Louis. You have the same. It's the same thing. We don't trust Carson Palmer, and we know it's a big year for San Francisco. I think in the Rams, pretty much is the Rams.
Disaster.
Yeah, disaster. Actually, we'll get to them another day about Fisher, some of the things about his record over the years. Wow, when that came out, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's for another day. So let's wrap it up here. Let's just do quickly, since we have our division winners, let's get two wild card teams from each conference. I'll let you go first, man.
All right, for my AFC, who do I have? I have the Chargers, and I also have the Ravens.
All right. For me, for my AFC teams, I have Cincinnati, and I have San Diego. Okay. And NFC?
NFC, for me, it's going to be, okay, again, we got the 49ers, definitely. Mm-hmm. But my surprise pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I still can't believe that you actually think the Buccaneers are going to make the playoffs. Okay, I'm going with Detroit and San Francisco as the picks, and maybe Arizona might come in for that last spot and might take it from Detroit, but because Detroit, they'll find a way to give it away. So I'm gonna go with Detroit. Thanksgiving comes and they start falling apart anyhow.
That's true. That's true.
So let's wrap it up here, man. Where can the good folks find you, E?
Oh, they can find me at YCHARLEM, Y Charlem. You can find me there.
Cool, man. See his great insights and stuff like that. He's got a lot of fun stuff and interesting stuff to say on Twitter. And you can find me, right, of course, on the @Beyond Locker Room, short form RM. You can find me there to hear the thoughts and all the news that comes through. Anything I get off the wire, trades, anything else, transactions, folks getting dropped. You'll find it on there. Be the first to get it. So, man, hey, man, it's been great been blessed to have you as part of the team here for the Beyond the Locker Room team. Looking forward to this season, man. So,
we'll definitely win.
Cool, man. Folks, we'll catch you.
Send your questions.
Yes, send your questions. Subscribe above, and we'll talk to you next time, man. Peace.
All right. Take care. Bang, bang.